computer. There we go. There we
Got
go. Recording. Yes. So welcome. Here we are to do another MAAT session. Today is September 29, 2021. And today we're going to talk about the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation here in Canada. And we're just going to talk just a little bit about that topic. This is a new statutory holiday in Canada. This is the first year it's being recognized. Very, very, very important that we talk about this topic. And I also wanted to just talk a little bit about dance and the importance of the healing of dance, the power of dance. And I want to share our Kindfulness Calendar. It's been sent to the printers this week, and that's very, very exciting. So I just want to, I'll just do a quick run through that later on. And hopefully I can show some photos from different Maui Owl meets I've been to and powwows, and because they're beautiful, beautiful. So first we'll do intros, and then we will do our diversity welcome, and then we will see how Vida's doing, and just have a little chat, and then the hour will fly by. Okay. So I am Margaret Major. Like I was looking around. Who am I? I am Margaret Major. I am a registered counseling therapist here at the After Trauma Empowerment Network in Scotia, Nova Scotia. I'm joined with Vida Woodworth, who is co-host and chairperson on our board of directors here at ATTEND. And Kate Matthews is also with us. She's our technical director, emotional supporters. And she's operating behind the scenes. And like we always say, one of these days we'll get Kate on. Yes. And thank you for being here and joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. That means a lot. And I want to extend our thanks and gratitude to the Mental Health Foundation of Nova Scotia for their financial support for us to be able to do this program for you. And if anybody watching these videos ever has a particular topic or something they would like for us to kind of bring to the forefront or to discuss or highlight, please just send us an email, a message, or on Facebook, After Trauma Empowerment Network. We have a YouTube channel, which is After Trauma Empowerment Network as well. So right now, I'm going to do our diversity welcome, and do a check-in. Okay. So I would like to welcome all women, men, transgender, and other identified individuals. I'd like to welcome everyone here who is a mother, a father, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, grandmother, or grandfather. Welcome. I welcome people of all races, tribes, and descent. I welcome your bodies, your minds, and your energy. I welcome survivors and those who support them. I welcome all people single, married, partnered, dating, celibate, or involved in whatever sort of relationship is right for you. I welcome gay, lesbian, bisexual, heterosexual, queer, two-spirited, and others for whom none of the current labels do. I welcome your emotions, your joy, your bliss, your sadness, your rage, frustration, disappointment, contentment. All of your emotions, welcome. I welcome everyone's special way of understanding and knowing the world. Everyone's wisdom, whether it is education that has been learned in schools, colleges, and or universities, and the deep and profound school of life. I welcome those living with chronic medical conditions, visible and invisible. I welcome your families, genetic and otherwise, our networks of friends and families who make our lives happier, easier, and gentler to be in. I welcome mystics, seekers, and believers of all kinds. I welcome people who identify as activists, community leaders, musicians, artists, group members, and those who don't. And finally, I'd like to welcome the ancestors who lived in this land where we are now. Welcome the spirits of Mi'kmaq, the natives who lived in this area before the Europeans came. I'd like to acknowledge them and invite their spirit to this space. Everyone, welcome. And again, thank you for being here. Okay, there. So Vida, you're sporting some new specs tonight.
Yes, yes, I can see.
Yeah, they look like you've always had them. So
Yes,
they're very, very fitting. I really,
yes.
really like them. And it's hard to tell
Well,
on
thank you.
camera, but they're a beautiful kind of pinkish reddish
Yes,
deep color. Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
How are you doing?
Good. And speaking of my glasses, I picked them up earlier today, and I just shared, I guess, with Kate and you a little bit. I have two puppies, as I probably have talked about before, and thought that I had safely put my 3 pairs of glasses that I got away in the cases, and was working on my computer a little ways away, and all of a sudden I heard the puppies chewing on something and discovered that they were chewing on my most expensive pair of the 3 pairs of glasses that I had gotten.
Of course.
And so, of course, yes, now they're broken in. I have a few little tiny teeth marks on them, and hopefully I will remember to keep them safe. So that was a bit of a stressful event for me earlier today. And anyway, but my week has been busy and good. Thinking a lot about tomorrow, being national recognition of truth and reconciliation.
Yeah.
And often we have been, in the last few years at least, calling it Orange T-shirt Day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of encompassing that as well as something much, much bigger. And I've been doing some reading and listening and watching television, looking for, anything that I can learn, because there's a lot of learning for all of us to do around the issues, especially how the residential schools and the policies that our country and laws that were written, and the day schools, and even today our justice system and our childcare system still impacts our Indigenous people very differently than it does us, non-Indigenous people, and in particular us who came from Western or European descent. And interesting, trying to have conversations with people, and I've been really surprised at how, I don't know if it's people don't feel comfortable in having a conversation, or if they don't. There's a lot of resistance I have found in just even a casual conversation, and a lot of people not even knowing basic information that that I would have thought they would have known by now. Yeah. So there's a lot of work, a lot of education, and and a willingness, I guess, to want to learn and to see that these issues are important. And yes, they happened. Some of them happened hundreds of years ago, but they're still affecting Indigenous peoples today.
Mm-hmm.
And our laws very much are not equal, don't treat our people equally. And, all of the systems and so on are kind of geared for one group of people, and it excludes a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, when I was reading, I know that today or tomorrow, I'm sorry, the 30th is declared a statutory holiday for federally, which means that impacts all federal employees across the country. But only 2 provinces have declared it a provincial statutory holiday. So if you aren't a federal employee and you work, just in a provincial, so on, and or just a private business, it isn't necessarily a holiday for you. And there are only 2 provinces who said that it will be for everyone, federal and provincial, and that's Nova Scotia and Manitoba. And other provinces have said they would, especially they want to have schools open because they're governed provincially, are regulated provincially, and they want kids to be in school and teachers to use that time to educate and talk about issues relating to the residential schools and truth and reconciliation and all of those things. But I was somewhat surprised that only 2 provinces wanted it, declared it a provincial holiday. And I've read it, there's people on one side, as I said, where schools are in the other provinces and they can use that time. And then, so I'm kind of mixed about, I'm glad that Nova Scotia has declared it a holiday provincially as well. And so families and individuals can hopefully use the time to reflect or to attend some of the events that are happening in the communities. I know Millbrook is having a series of things happening tomorrow, and everyone is invited. And, I'm hoping that people will look to find things like that, or take the time to do some reading or go online and find information. And there's lots of places where you can find books and films and videos that are recommended for you to read to help in your learning and understanding. And I'm hoping that I'm planning to spend tomorrow learning as much as I can. So, and I hope that I am respectful and I'm, will see the day as a very important day. And I will give it the respect and dignity that it deserves. Anyway, so I can't think of any other exciting things to say other than I had my birthday last Thursday, and I want to thank Margaret and some of our Kate and other women for helping me celebrate that day. It was a nice, quiet, but lovely day. And now that I'm 60, I still don't feel any different. And hopefully I will be saying that when I'm 90. So
don't look a day over 25.
I don't look a day over 62. So, and I'm still not having my teeth, as I'm having my denture or dental work done. And so I'm learning how to talk without my 2 front teeth and a whole lot of other ones. And in 3 to 6 months, I'll have a lovely smile.
Yes, you will.
And new glasses, and maybe even a new hairstyle.
Yeah. Yes.
You won't know who I am.
Oh, you got a happy birthday, Vida.
Yes, I see that. Thank you very much.
I'm just grabbing my notes because I need to make notes.
Yes.
Because sometimes I get so much going through my brain that I just can't recall it all.
Yes.
So yes.
I was just going to say, did you hear if there was anything happening locally?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Yes.
I just found that out this
Okay.
afternoon. So down at the river, where the Shumanakadee residential school used to be, there's a gathering place by the river, and they're
Okay.
going to do the unveiling of the historic site for the residential schools. So they're going to start to gather by the river at around 2:15, and COVID protocols, masks,
Mm-hmm.
safe distancing, all that will be in effect. But there will be a gathering here by the river tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. That's going to start. And
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Heath Julian. So he's kind of the main organizer of these events that have been happening down by the river. They've been doing on Wednesdays and Sunday evenings at
Yes.
6:30. They've been doing teachings and different educational sessions on dancing, regalia, the history
Mm-hmm.
of the river, just tons of very valuable information.
Yeah. Is it open to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't have a schedule, but I was this morning when I was doing some looking around to see what events were happening too. I know Halifax is having, I think, 3 days worth, like 3 or 4
Okay.
days of different events happening in Halifax area, and I believe
Yes.
that is the Friendship Center in
Yes.
Halifax. I think is the main, I guess, collaborator or organizer
Yeah.
of those events. Yeah. And other than that, I'm not aware of any other events happening.
Yeah. I know that CBC radio and CBC television are having special broadcasts tomorrow. So I'm sure if you kind of Googled CBC and had a look, they would say
Yeah.
what's going on. Even if you were able to just watch something on television or listen to something on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we tried to get someone on the show for this evening, and everybody we reached out to has already been booked.
Yes.
Because it's,
Yes.
this is the first time
Yeah.
that we're recognizing this. So this is good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll, so yes, September 30th is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And it's also now known as Orange Shirt Day, which has been around, I believe, for about since 2013, I think is when Orange Shirt Day started.
I think so.
And I'm just trying to, so that day, it's connected to the experience of Phyllis Webstead. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So when she was taken to a residential school as a child, she had an orange shirt on and it was taken from her. So that is why the orange shirt is the symbol of the Indian residential school.
Yeah.
And also October 1st is Treaty Day, as well as the beginning of Mi'kmaq History Month.
Yes.
So there's, we could hopefully in October we can have a guest in from maybe Sabaganagdi to talk about treaties and just I want to learn. I'd love to have someone come in and just to have someone do a healing dance or something.
I was hoping, I mentioned to you earlier, and you were able to meet my friend Leanna, and her mother was Nora Bernard.
Yeah.
And she was murdered, and unfortunately didn't get to finish the wonderful work she was doing, but she was the person who basically led the call for recognition of the impact of going and being in residential schools and the day school programs and so on. And she did it locally for the Mi'kmaq people, but she also wanted it to impact all Indigenous people. And in fact, it has. When we had the Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, offer an apology on behalf of Canada, the country and the government, and so on. And perhaps if she's able, I would love to have her maybe come and talk a little bit more about her mom.
Yes.
And
she did some incredible work. Yeah.
Yes, and I was fortunate to meet her a couple of times because she was very involved in the community in Truro when I worked there, and trying to find supports at that time for the survivors of the residential schools who were beginning to tell their stories and looking for places to provide support for them. And also when we talk about intergenerational trauma, those stories being told and those families and people living with the impact of someone having lived through that experience. And Nora was very, very involved in trying to find places for anyone who needed support or a safe place to go. So, and through working with Leanna, I was able to learn a lot more about her mom through her stories, and I'm hoping that maybe we can, if she can, we'll invite her, to come. And so that would be a great thing for any time for her to be a guest. But given that,
and something that you mentioned a few minutes ago that I just wanted to, I guess, add something to. Actually, Vida, you've said a lot that I want to add a lot to. But it's
go right ahead.
Our time is so limited that
yes,
and it's like all the topics that we do on here, Vida. We could go for hours just on dance. We could talk about. But something that you said at the beginning about how trying to have conversations with some people, and there seems to be some resistance, and you're not sure if that's, is it fear? Is it just people don't care? They're not interested.
Yeah.
And so a couple of Wednesdays ago, we didn't do a show. You drove me to Musquodoboit Harbor, and there was so CBC was there, Matt Galloway, and he was doing a community kind of town hall type of meeting with probably 20, 25 individuals that were invited to participate in this, and I was honored to be part of that. But there was a Mi'kmaq nurse practitioner who stood up, and he said how we not only need more education and awareness in our systems, but they need to be trauma informed. To have people in the healthcare system who are unaware of the history of residential schools and the enormous impact that has had intergenerationally. That's not trauma informed. If you are unaware that the history of the residential schools in Canada, we need trauma informed systems, especially healthcare, because trauma is so prevalent in so many different capacities in our society, in our culture, our world. And that thought came up to me as I was listening to you. And I'm a huge advocate for trauma informed, and I strive to be trauma informed, to learn what I can, and every day is an opportunity to learn. something new. And
Mhm.
I know, so one conversation that I had today, we were talking about the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And it was mentioned that there are some people who are uncomfortable with the word reconciliation.
Mhm.
The person I was talking to, they said it might be more accurate to say National Day of Truth and Decolonialization,
Yes.
because reconciliation is kind of like you acknowledge there was a wrong done or wrongdoing, and then you go your separate ways. The
Mhm.
decolonization, it's about awareness and recognition of what has been done and then improving our systems now so that we don't repeat the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I found that very interesting because I never had anybody introduce it to me in that way, like decolonialization.
Yeah.
And I want to read more about that and learn more.
Yeah. There was and as you're speaking, I'm thinking there was the term reconciliation began being used in the early 60s, and it was being used as it applied to the apartheid um, um, experience that was happening in South Africa, and all the um, atrocities and things that happened to the South African people because of the color of their skin. And so that term, I think, again, through colonization, I think it may have been taken from that and tried to be applied to this situation. And for some people, maybe it doesn't fit. And I'm thinking about when we're decolonizing our systems and our laws and our everything, it's kind of like, and I don't even know if this is a word, but misogynistic thing,
Okay.
like from a patriarchal, everything is, when we look at things from a gender perspective, we know that a lot of what we deal with today in particular is, when we're looking at equality for women, has been impacted by our patriarchal influence. And so in order to have true equality or to kind of take that away, we have to take out the misogynistic or the paternalistic influences, because they're just woven into the everything, our laws. I mean, it wasn't until 1983 in Canada that our laws changed. So if you were married, up until 1983, if you were married, and only at that time could a man and a woman legally marry, it was the husband's right to have sex basically whenever he wanted. And so as his wife, the woman, basically was looked at as being second to him, and she couldn't legally refuse unless he were to use, extreme physical force or, something, and that it wouldn't be because they were married, it would be dealt with as like an assault, but not necessarily a sexual assault.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to the way back in British common law, where women and children were seen as things, not as people, and they were owned by their fathers. Yeah. And then when they married, by their husbands. And so if a woman or a child was to be sexually assaulted or raped, it would go to court so that the father or the husband could be compensated for the damage to his property, not so that the woman or the child could get something. It was so that, if that person was raped, then they were damaged, and actually they weren't even seen as people. And so, you know, our laws in Canada came from British common law, and it's taken decades and a century or more to try and see women and children being valued as much as or equal to men. And you know, so I'm hoping that, you know, the decolonization you know, doesn't take that long. That it can, you know, we can look at things, and it takes all of us to do it. It's not just
Absolutely.
Indigenous people's job, and it's not just, you know, the government's job. It's everybody's job to want this to change and to make it happen.
Yeah, I know. That's I remember learning that about Canadian law, and when you're married, and that changing in the 80s, that, you know, it became illegal to rape your partner, or your wife, because I don't even know if it was recognized that males experienced that too. That wasn't even part of people's awareness back then. It's still not today.
No.
But yeah, we'll talk about that on another show.
Yeah.
Margaret can go off on that for quite a while.
Yeah. But I think, in a way, to me, they're both things that need to change.
Yes.
And they're both taking forever, and we need to get busy and do the work that needs to be done. And that means everyone. Yeah.
And so Kate found me this information. This is the latest number that she was able to find in regards to the bodies that they have found as of today, and that's 6,509.
Yes.
Like, it's sickening. It's just unbelievable, and they're not done yet.
No.
And I believe too that there are a lot that will never be found, that will never be recovered.
Yes.
And then, I mean, even the people who survive, it's like you said earlier about the intergenerational impact of that. I mean, somebody's grandmother that went to a residential school and experienced dehumanization and abuse, that gets passed through generations in multiple ways. And it's very complex, but that's something else that we need to be more aware of as well, is the impact of intergenerational or transgenerational trauma. Is that the phone ringing?
It is the phone ringing. I'll just have a peek here, Margaret.
Okay.
Ooh, it's a long distance number. It was an area code that I don't recognize.
Okay.
So we'll check later.
We'll check later. Yes. If the light is blinking, we will check.
Yeah. I think they hung up before the machine came on. So if you're watching us now, call back.
We will answer.
Yeah.
I looked up a little definition on decolonialization. I don't know why I keep struggling with that word. So what I wrote down about that is it's cultural, psychological, and economic freedom, the right and ability of Indigenous people to practice self-determination over their land, cultures, and political and economic systems. That's decolonialization.
Yes.
And it will take some work, Vida, and there are people working on it. But there's still a lot of people that are, like you said, resistant.
Yeah. And I think people sometimes say, well, that happened 100 years ago. Like, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Why do I have to hear about it and talk about it? And yes, you you weren't there 100 years ago, but it's still happening today. It's still happening, maybe not in a separate institution that the government has set up to for Indigenous people without consulting or whatever, but it's happening every day individually to people. People who are not given access to the proper health care because they're Indigenous, people who are treated differently by our justice system because they're Indigenous, people who are judged differently by our child protection system just because they're Indigenous, and they're not making any effort. The child protection people don't try to understand from an Indigenous cultural perspective, anything. So they just, apply the white people's laws and policies and stuff, and never ask anybody for their opinion, especially an opinion of someone who's going to be most affected by the decision or the law or the policy. And it was our ancestors that did this, and I think we have a responsibility to work to change that so it doesn't keep happening tomorrow and the next day, because it does, and it will until we make changes. And it has to come from all of our voices in order for that to happen quickly.
Yeah, it does. I know. We'll write some letters, Vida. That's one thing we can do. Write some letters. Oh my, it's 6:39 already.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I happened to notice out over my shoulder before we started. It's clouded over, but I'm sitting here and looking across to where the Shubenacadie Residential School used to stand. And I remember as a child driving by, and every time I go by there, I think about the children who were forced to go there. And it's just so hard to believe that something so terrible could happen so close.
I know, right
to
there.
where we live. And I know, and I mean,
Right
I also know that on an individual level, terrible things happen close to us all the time. And but to just know that, in the Atlantic region that I live and work and volunteer that close, and I can still see it in my eye, like in my memory. And I hope that there's going to come a time when we will still remember those children and the people who went through there, and that we don't let it happen again.
Yeah, something I did want to just mention briefly. I can't show the slideshow because I can't figure out how to get the slideshow to work on Zoom, but I would like to share a couple of photos. So dance. I love going to Maui Omis or powwows. So that is a gathering of people that dance. They celebrate. It's prayer, music, the drumming, like just to be there and to feel that rhythm in your body, like and move, and to watch the dancers move. And it's so healing. Dancing is so healing. And I just want to show a few photos from different events that I've been to in the past. I know it doesn't quite capture the movements as if you're watching a video, but they're just stunning. The regalia that some people wear, efforts, the work that goes into the bead work on some of these. And like jingle dresses have like 300 or more jingles on them. And then you have hoop dancers, shawl dancers, fancy shawl dancers. And I just wanted to make a note about that part of Indigenous culture, the dance part. There's storytelling in dance. There's healing in dance. There's growth. There's appreciation. It's powerful. It's powerful. And I just want to share a few photos if I can get myself to do this. This is a photo of me doing what's called, are you able to see that?
Yes.
It's me doing a potato dance. So
Yes.
this is a dance, as you can see, between our foreheads is a potato. So you hold the potato between your heads and you dance to the drum until you drop the potato and then you're disqualified. And Margaret did not last any more than, I don't think, 10 seconds doing the potato dance. I was not very good.
Yes, it's hard not to laugh as well, I would think.
Well, some people have great rhythm and they're able to
Yes.
think it all, and
Yeah.
and no, Margaret. But let's find another picture. No, there's probably not. Finish. This one. She's so beautiful. Are you able to see that picture?
Just see a black screen.
Black screen. Okay. I wonder, maybe I won't be able to do this one. Still black screen?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can't do it. We'll maybe we'll figure it out for next week. But I can
Yeah.
show the kindfulness calendar.
Yes, and I just before we move on,
Yes, yes.
I was with you the night we went to down to the river to hear some of the presentation about dancing and drumming and singing,
Yeah.
and do you remember you've used powwow and you've used Maui-Omi?
Yeah.
And I know that in Mi'kmaq, they didn't use the term powwow. It was called a Maui-Omi.
Yeah.
And now and powwow, I believe, was, and I might be wrong, I think they said was a term used out west, and it was a Cree term maybe.
Okay.
And anyway, it's kind of now it's used sort of interchangeably, and you'll see it here in Nova Scotia as well, and the Atlantic region.
Yes.
And I could be wrong, but I think sometimes I know people say, well, why is it called this one time and that another time? I know they had a big gathering on the Commons in Halifax a few years ago, and it was called a Maui-Omi.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I remember somebody saying, well, what's the difference between this and a powwow? And I think they explained that the term out west is powwow, and that the Mi'kmaq word was Maui-Omi.
Mm.
And I could be completely wrong. I hope I'm not, because I did try to listen.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's what I recall too.
Yeah.
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 We were a ways back though, because there was a lot of people there for that particular presentation that evening. We were
Yeah.
a little bit back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I also remember the dance, the one that they talked about. It's that they do the dance at a gathering anytime they get together, and it could be at a sad time, or it could be at a happy time.
mm-hmm.
And I think the word for the dance is Gojaba.
Ah.
but I might be wrong. See, I should have read this before tonight. But if I will check it and I will confirm next week to make sure that if I was wrong, I'll tell you what I should have said tonight.
And I'm gonna see if I can, because I still want to share those pictures because they're so.
Yes,
they're so
absolutely. Sorry,
gorgeous.
Margaret.
No, no. I meant the ones I wasn't able to share tonight.
Oh,
because
okay.
I can't
thought you
figure
meant
out how to share a slideshow.
Oh,
It clicks off
well.
on me. So
oh,
I have learning to do between now and next week.
yes,
But yeah,
yeah,
and this will be a topic that, you know, we'll weave into as many discussions as we can,
yes,
because this is a very important issue, and it's right here in our community. And like Vida said, the old residential school, we can look out our office windows here and see that site.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just in the few minutes that we have left, I'm just going to do a quick show of the Kindfulness Calendar. So this is our first Kindfulness Calendar that we've done, and I think we showed the pictures back earlier, maybe June, July on the show.
I think so, yeah.
And it's just been sent to print. It's been all designed and organized and sent to print this week. So hopefully within a week and a half or 2 weeks, we'll have those available. And the people that I've shown it to so far, like the electronic copy, are just amazed at the artwork that we received from people, because it's amazing. And we're still like so grateful to the artists that took the time to create these pieces and then to donate them to us. Like, it's just, the support is overwhelming sometimes, and it's going to be a great fundraiser. We already have people wanting to purchase copies for Christmas gifts. It'll make a lovely Christmas gift.
Yes.
Guess what you'll be getting from me, Vida.
And you from me.
Okay, let's see if I can get this to share now. There we go. Okay, let's make this. Are you able to see it? Okay.
Yes.
Now, I think I have to leave it kind of in this view, but this is the front. Messages of kindness, hope, and encouragement by Nova Scotia artists. This is our January. And then this is the layout of the calendar part. So
Oh, I like that.
It'll have the artist's name, the title of their piece, a little space for notes, and then our little after trauma empowerment map. We've just breathe for February.
Yes.
Wednesday. My body is my home.
Mm-hmm.
March. April is peace. That's the name of this piece. It's peace. This is birthstone.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
They all are, but the colors in that.
Yeah. Dark cloud, bright sky. I know, they just all look so beautiful.
Yeah.
That one is memory from my inner child.
Mm.
This is the release.
Beautiful.
I like this one. Seemed appropriate for October. Strength, that's November. And then December. A little blue. That piece seemed fitting for December. There's no in the snow sense as well.
Mm.
And then this is the back.
I love it. Very nice.
I'm
Great.
just so excited to see hard copy. Hard copy.
Yes, I know.
Okay. let's
It'll
stop
be
sharing.
very nice.
Yeah.
You did a good job, you and
Yay!
I think Julie had some input as well, or at least some editing or
Yes, it's been a work
something.
in progress. Yes,
Yes,
it's had input
yeah,
from several people, and,
yes,
and
yeah.
yeah, I just can't wait to get a hard copy. Yes.
Hopefully we'll sell out.
Hopefully,
And
yeah,
we'll
we'll
have
have
to-
to order a second batch. Hope
Yes.
that'll be wonderful. So I think that is all that I had on my to-dos for today. I'm just checking my list. And of course, we could go on and on and on
Yes.
and on and on. It's like that a commercial for the seniors home. He talks about the
Yes.
movie. Go on and on and on.
Go on and on and on. I know. Mom always says, if that was your father, he'd be concerned about the food too. She said, look at the women, they're concerned about the important stuff. The men always want to know about the food.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we'll do our loving kindness meditation, our closing, and then we'll call it another week. And we'll be back next week.
Did you thank the Nova Scotia Mental Health Foundation?
Yes, but we can thank them again.
Okay,
Yes.
double thanks this week.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Double gratitude.
Yeah.
And double gratitude to the artists that submitted those pieces for our
Yes.
calendar too. Yeah. And we still
And
you
you had a
don't have a date.
photographer.
Yeah. We still don't have a date for the auction part yet. Might be, we were thinking maybe October, but I'm going to be out for most of October. I'm still doing the show, but
yeah, I'm thinking I'm just guessing that even though we're supposed to go into phase 5 on the 4th of October, that it may not and I didn't hear this afternoon's update, but I think the phase 5 isn't going to look the way we maybe thought it would. So
yeah,
being able to have large gatherings may still be impacted for a while. I think until yeah. So hopefully we can do it.
I kind of had a momentary forgetfulness of COVID situation because our numbers here in Nova Scotia are climbing up there again.
Yeah, and a lot of the new cases are young people between I forget the ages, but a lot of them are under the age of 10 because they are the ones that are unable to have vaccines. And they just released, I think, a list of the schools that have had positive cases of COVID, and not to mean that there's a massive outbreak in any of the schools, but it is beginning to impact our younger people. So all of us, even with our double vaccines, we know that we can still potentially pass the virus if we were to come in contact with it to someone maybe who isn't able to get a vaccine or whose immune system, even with the vaccine, is very affected. And so I'm guessing from what I was hearing, talking before the 3 o'clock news conference, that this 4th we may go into a phase, but it may not look like the phase we thought it was going to be. But I might be wrong, Margaret. This could be my next week. I may be apologizing all over the place.
Well, I mean, what we've learned about surviving this COVID pandemic is we don't know from one week to the next.
Yeah.
Because things in a few days can take a wicked turn, and then we go right back into lockdown.
Yeah. And New Brunswick has gone back into an emergency state of emergency, and Yeah, they're averaging 50 to 60 new
Oh,
a day. So yeah, now to go to PEI, doesn't matter if you're from PEI or where you're from. If you want to go into PEI, you have
yeah.
to be tested, and no exceptions.
Okay.
So I don't know how that's going to affect the economy with, truck drivers going back and forth.
Right,
And
right.
but they said, even if you're from Charlottetown and you're coming back from Halifax, you still have to be tested. And I don't know if they're going to test you right at the end of
Border? Yeah.
the link, or and then keep you in your car until I don't know how that happens, but everybody has to have a test because they want to keep their numbers low. They're still fairly low, and they want to keep them that way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even,
So,
I had thought about talking about COVID. So thank you for reading my mind.
yeah. Yes.
And
Well,
bringing that
while you
up.
were working, I was listening to the news and either hearing it and then repeating it incorrectly, or maybe I am being accurate. So I hope I am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do our quick loving kindness meditation, just so we leave on that loving kindness note.
Yeah.
And yes, consider wearing orange tomorrow to show and acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
that you care,
Yeah.
that you care. Okay, so for the next probably minute and a half, just continue listening to me. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, please do so. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, just find something that you can fix your stare on. You don't need to control your breathing in any way. Just allow yourself to be in this space right now. Put all your stresses and all your worries, put that all up on the shelf for the next minute. Hear the sounds in the room around you, just being present in this space. You may begin to notice your breathing starting to slow down. And as you settle into this space, begin to notice any tension you might be holding. Begin to feel any tension start to drain away from your eyes, your face, through your neck, down your shoulders, and your arms. Feel any tension drain like a liquid down through your body and out through your toes. Now begin to feel your body fill up with love. Imagine a loving white light entering your feet, traveling up through your body, up to your stomach, to your chest, your arms. Feel it almost bursting through your heart, your fingers, through the crown of your head. Feel your body being filled with this loving white light. When you feel embraced in that love, silently repeat the following to yourself. May I be free from all harm. May I be safe and protected. May I be free from all suffering. May I be happy. May I be free from all disease and physical pain. May I be healthy and strong. And may I be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Now turn your thoughts to this vast world, this huge earth with all its living creatures. Continue to feel that love bursting through your body as you silently say, may all beings be free from all harm. May all beings be safe and protected. May all beings be free from all suffering. May they be happy. May all beings be free from all disease and physical pain. May they be healthy and strong. And may all beings be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Send your love as far out around the world as possible. And just imagine that energy traveling through the air. Continue to feel that love centered around your heart. Feel yourself in this present moment, in the now. When you are ready, you may slowly open your
Whoops.
Wow. There goes the piece on that one. Poor honk. Hopefully that didn't wreck the peace quiet vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Those tinctures got a little out of control over
Yes.
it. Okay, so we're 5 minutes after 7. Thank you again for joining us and spending your Wednesday evening with us. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you. And we will be back next week. Any closing words, Vida?
No, other than I will, as soon as we finish, I'm going to make sure that all these wonderful things I said are actually in fact true.
Oh, okay.
So
We'll get Kate on it. Kate's probably
I'm
already on it,
second-guessing
actually.
myself. Yeah, she probably already knows. She's shaking her head going, oh, Vida.
Yes, Kate is also our researcher. Yes.
Yes.
She finds us facts quickly.
So,
Okay.
no, have a good week.
Yeah. And please take care of yourself and please take care of each other.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. Be well. Bye-bye.